So to start working on to the top body, first we'll turn on the top body. Here you can see. Now I will turn off the bottom body, and here is my top body. You can see that. So in the top body also we want to add the ribs to give some strength to this face. So again I will click on the create sketch and will select this face as a sketch face, this face from the top body. So we'll click on it. Here you can see it is active right now. Again I will start creating the line. So I will go on to the create panel and I will activate this line tool, and here I will create the first line, and then I will activate the line tool again, second line. So each time when I am done with creating one of the lines, I had to press escape on my keyboard, and then again I had to reactivate the line tool to start creating the next line. Here you can see like this. And now I will activate my sketch dimension tool. I will make sure that from this side to this edge I am keeping a 16, and from this line to this line again I am keeping 16. We'll do the same onto the other side. From outer edge to this line I had to keep 16, and again from this line to this line I had to keep 16. So I had created only 4 profiles onto this top body, but here I will select all these 4 end point of this line and will apply this horizontal constraint. Now I will click on these points and will make sure that it is snapping onto this edge. So I will just place these points onto this edge. Now I am done with the profile. I will click on the finish sketch, will orbit it a little bit, and will repeat the same web tool to convert this as a ribs. So we'll move on to the create panel. We'll activate this web tool. We'll select all the profiles. By turning off this flip direction I can select all the profiles, and again I will click on this flip direction, and here you can see I am able to create ribs of 3 millimeter in height and 1.6 millimeter in thickness, whereas they are equally symmetrically thickened around the profiles. Now I will click on OK. So here you can see we just added these ribs onto this body, but on this side it is completely fine, but on the other side you can see these ribs are just going outside from this body, because when we had used the web tool we did a small mistake, and that mistake we can identify if I'll go back to my design timeline at the bottom of my Fusion 360. The last tool that we had performed, will make a right click on it and we'll click on edit feature, and here you can see under this web tool we had turned on this option that says extend curves. So if we'll zoom on to this area, here you can see, and if I will turn off this option, you can see it is not extending the curve. So this is what we needed. Now if we'll press OK, you can see now they are completely fine. Now they are just completely finishing at that particular edge, and on the other side they are completely fine. So this is how, using design timeline, you can also correct your 3D models or designs very easily without wasting any time. So you don't have to worry about finding all those features. You just simply come onto the design timeline, identify that feature that you had used to create particular things into your design, and you can change it accordingly as per your need or as per your change needed. So here you can see. Now here a small thing that will add, will activate the chamfer tool from the modification panel and will chamfer these corners. So we'll apply a chamfer of 3 millimeter on all these 4 corners. 2, I will make sure that it is equal distance chamfer this time, and will apply a value of 3, and here you can see they are getting chamfered by 3 mm. I will press OK. So here is my result onto the top body. So if I turn on the bottom body also, you can see from the bottom view, here are my ribs on the top face and here are my ribs on the bottom face, and I had made sure that these ribs are not in front of each other. You can see this rib is coming between these 2 ribs, whereas this rib is coming between these 2 ribs. There is also a reason for it. I did like this, that you can see when we'll try to assemble these two pieces. Now, as you can see, on the bottom ribs, we had added these extra heights, right? And if you'll see this model from the bottom view, you can notice that from this area, it is still open. So whenever the box is in closed position, the soap can fall from this area. So to cover this area, what we'll do, we will add the similar height. We'll extend these ridges like we did for the bottom piece. So for that, what we'll do, we'll rotate our object like this using our orbit tool. As you can see, I am pressing middle mouse button and shift simultaneously at the same time. So you can see I can orbit my object since my orbit is active. And now I will activate this create a sketch tool, and then I will click on the top face of this small ridge 3 mm ridge that we had created, or 3 mm ridge, yes. So I will activate this create a sketch tool from this create panel under the solid tab, and then I will click on this top face as a sketch face. Now you can see, now we just got sketch tools active. Also we are in 3D view right now. So since we don't need the bottom body, so we'll turn off the bottom body, and we are going to create the sketch on the top body. So what we'll do, to make a same line, we had created a line over here. If you remember, in the bottom body we created a separation line over here, and then because of that we got these areas separated, right? So before that, what we'll do, we'll go on to this create tab, we'll go on to this project tool, and we'll activate this project tool, and we'll select these faces. So we'll get all the, so we get all the curves and lines projected onto this plane. So I had selected all these four faces, and now if I'll press OK, you can see all these lines that are purple in color just got projected. Now I will expand my sketch folder, and I will find the older sketch that we used for the bottom body. So this sketch 4, I think, is that sketch. If I'll just hover over my cursor onto the sketch, I can see the highlights. So sketch 5 is not the right sketch, sketch 4 is the right sketch. So I will turn on that sketch. Here you can see, I can see that separation line. So what I will do now here, to project this line onto the current sketch, that is on sketch 6, we'll go on to the create panel again, we'll go on to this project and activate this project tool. Then we'll click on this line. So this line will be projected inside the sketch 6. And now if I'll press OK, that line just got projected. So if I'll turn off the sketch 4 now, you can see that line just got projected. Now if I'll orbit it little bit like this, there you can see, so we got that thing right. Now if I will turn on my bottom body, so I can see the things very clearly. I will finish the sketch, and then again I will move back to the solid tab. Under the create panel, I will activate the same extrude tool to give this profile some height. So here you can see under the profile tab, I had to select my profiles first. So I will select all these small profiles that we had created, and these, by using this arrow, we can extend it up to the height of this point. So to extend up to that height, we'll go on to the bottom view from the V cube, so I can see it clearly, and then we can extend it like this up to that particular height. So that distance, I believe it's 18 millimeter. Here you can see from the distance tab, I had entered the values 18 from my keyboard, and the operation will be joined because we want this extension to be joined with the top body, right? So I will press OK. Here you can see this is the result we got. And again the same thing, we had to apply these chamfers that we had applied. So but we don't remember the values, so don't worry. What we can do, we can go on to our design history timeline, and we can identify that chamfer. So this is the chamfer that we did, right? So if we'll make a right click on it and click on edit feature, here you can see we had used two distance chamfer on that particular area, and the distance was 8 millimeter and 17.9 millimeter. So I will cancel this one because we want to create chamfer on these edges. So first I will turn off my bottom body, then I will orbit it little bit so I can see all these internal edges. I will activate my chamfer tool from the solid tab. From this modify panel, I can activate my chamfer tool. Then I will select all the edges very carefully one by one. Here you can see I don't need to press any key. I just need to keep selecting the edges that I want to select very carefully, right? And somehow if you had selected some edge accidentally that you don't want to select, then what you can do, you can press the shift key on your keyboard, and you can click on that edge again, and that will get deselected. So here you can see I had selected the four edges only, and that we can verify under this box, four edges. And here the values that we had to assign is 8 by 17.9, but because equal distance chamfer is active, that's why both the distance are same. So I will change this to two distance chamfer. Here you can see now in this side I had specified 8 millimeter, whereas on the vertical side I will just specify maybe 17.9, or maybe a little bit more higher. So I will change this to 18. Yes, 18 is the exact distance. You can see it is getting chamfered up to this face, right? Flat face. So that is completely right. Now I will just press OK to accept this result. And here you can see this is what we got. So we got top body and we got bottom body. And these ridges, these ribs that we extended from both the pieces, just because whenever the soap is inside and if it is in closed position, it will not fall down.